Hello, everybody. Cole here from Aggressive Adventures. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Zoom to Adventure. Today, we have the pleasure of talking with Aqualung. So they're going to talk to us a little bit about the history of Aqualung and show us some of the new exciting products they got this year. And if you guys can just make sure that your screens are turned off and your mics are also turned off, that can keep the presenters from getting distracted. So let me read you a quick little history real quick. So today we got Chris and Sam on the line. How you guys doing?
Great. How you doing?
Doing good.
Great. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. So Chris, let me read your bio first. So 20 years experience in the dive industry. Chris' life in the scuba diving industry started in '95 when he worked as a buyer and instructor for a successful dive retail store based in San Diego. Along with managing the day-to-day operations of the 10 retail stores, he also led over 40 trips worldwide, ensuing dive club members and customers had unforgettable experiences. Chris later joined DEMA, the Dive Equipment Manufacturer Association, where his responsibilities included the production and introduction of retail-centric programs to dive retail partners. In 2008, he took on the regional sales manager role with Aqualung. Chris's primary responsibilities include traveling the territory to visit the dive retailers and ensure support of this distribution network in the dive community. Chris is a true enthusiast and loves his job. All right. So Chris is right there. Give us a little wave, Chris, so they know which one you are. I guess the name's on there. There you go with the mask. I like it. All right. Oh, man, you got the whole setup. All right, let me read you Sam's background. So Sam's scuba career began when he was 16 years old, working for a local dive store in Austin, Texas. Sam worked there throughout high school and college and became an SSI dive master at the age of 18 and SSI instructor by the age of 20. That's impressive. Sam still teaches scuba and is a reflection of his true passion of the sport. In 2013, Sam joined Aqualung to be the Southern Territory Regional Sales Manager covering an 8-state territory and resides in Austin, Texas, and further submerge himself with the sport he loves. As Sam said, I enjoy nothing better than visiting the stores within my large territory to help with their needs and introduce them to our new and exciting products. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys joining us, like I said, and we'll go ahead and hop on to the share screen. Chris, why don't we start with you?
All right. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing great. It's a great opportunity for us. I want to thank the Aggressor Fleet for giving us this opportunity to share with you our passion, just making products and getting them out there to divers all over the world. And so I thought I would start off a little bit with Aqualung, is talk about our history. Once I talk about our history, we'll run into a short video. We'll do a short presentation on some new and exciting products. And then from there, I'll go ahead and show you kind of a live view of the products that I have here over to my right. So first and foremost, as you know, Aqualung, 7 years ago, 1943, I believe I got the dates right, 1943, Jacques Cousteau and Emile Gagnon created the first underwater breathing apparatus, the 2-hose regulator. Okay, and back at that time, Cousteau was trying to become an Air Force pilot, get involved in the Air Force, and then his passion truly was the ocean. And when he couldn't get to the French Air Force, he ended up partnering with his engineer friend, Emile Gagnon, and creating that first Aqualung. And over the years, that's kind of like the origin of our company. We're a regulator manufacturer. We've been manufacturing regulators since and developing new technologies and new design regulators for different parts of the world, diving in different parts of the world. We've also been involved in a lot of other things during that time. We quickly, in the 50s, became a full-line manufacturer of products, going to the gauges and to the fins and masks, etc. And as carrying us all the way through until the late 80s. Late 89, 90 area. And as we went going through over time, we just kept enhancing our product line. And in doing so, creating all the different categories that were involved in diving. We actually, at one point in the 60s, got into the surfing community, and I thought that was kind of a funny thing, looking at some old blogs and things. But needless to say, we are focused on a dive industry and developing regulators at this time. So the late 90s, we realized that we were so centric on regulators that we need to get some acquisitions going along in other different categories so that we kind of get the best of product within each category. So these are some of the manufacturers that over the years you might have heard about. One is Seaquest. Seaquest was known as a top-end, high-end BCD. I know Wayne Brown, I know you are familiar with it very well. And so we carried the Seaquest name, and we brought the Seaquest team on board, of which many of them are still with us, and that's back in the early 90s. We also brought in Apex. Apex worldwide is known as a technical diving manufacturer, a leading brand in the industry for many, many years. And we brought them on board to sort of, we have the recreational side, but now we have kind of the technical side, and we can share technologies in doing so to enhance recreational diving, as well as continue the efforts within the technical dive community. As we moved along, another big acquisition that we had was in the kind of the late or mid 2000s. We acquired one of the oldest first dive manufacturer of dry suits in North America, and that is White's. Notice I didn't say US, I just said North America, and that's White's, and they're based out of Victoria, Canada. And so over time, they have special technologies, et cetera, and we kind of built upon that, and we're enhancing our line, expanding our line and our categories into some of the dryware. We've had some other small manufacturers that are lesser known, but were leaders in their categories when it comes to soft goods, et cetera, over the years. But one of our more recent acquisitions is not necessarily scuba related, but is Omer. And Omer, as you see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, Omer is a company, a freediving manufacturer, leading freediving manufacturer in the world. So when you put all these different brands together, and what's nice about it, we don't just have the brands, we merged them all together under one name, and that is Aqualung. The only two brands you see there, Apex and Omer, still carry their same separate entities, developing those products, etc., and our shared resources. Seaquest and White's both are now under the Aqualung brand. And so we've developed into becoming the largest dive manufacturer in the world, and we've merged a lot of different technologies into some of our new products that you're going to see today. What I'm going to show you in SAM as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start off with kind of our marquee product that I'm really excited about to show you. And it's something that's been in development since 2002. And that's sort of like, this is the third iteration of it. So I'm going to go ahead and cue over to Cole, if you could, to start that video.
You got it. Hold on a second.
I'll stop the share.
Wow. That was awesome.
So what's nice about that video really showcases kind of the evolution of our next product that I'm going to show you, which is the Legend. The Legend Regulator is a regulator that we introduced back in 2002. And we have many different regulators in many different categories covering warm water, ice diving. We've developed all these over the years, including lightweight second stages, lightweight regulators such as the Micron regulator, which is a great travel specific regulator. But what we're finding is that people still like to do some local diving. And there's different things that pop up. And most certainly on the West Coast here, where I cover from Alaska to San Diego, the temperatures change quite a bit. So typically you'd have to have a regulator that works under 50 degrees and one that works above 50 degrees. And what we try to do is we basically married all the different technologies down into one regulator, which is the third iteration of the Legend, which is one world, one regulator. So let me go ahead and go through this, a little bit of the brief history behind it. The Legend, the captain, I'm sure you can imagine where the name derived from, but that was our catalog picture back in 2002. And that shows Jacques Cousteau. Interesting side note was that many times when I look at them, I can see the faces on there. You can tell whether they know who Jacques Cousteau is or not. If there's a younger crowd, they seem to not know it as much as the older crowd. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we watched the undersea world of Jacques Cousteau over the years. So that was just kind of a fun little side note there. But the Legend regulator comes in 3 models, 3 different adjustments, and 3 price points. Okay, so we allow this so that everybody can afford to have the better technology and the one regulator that can dive in all the different conditions around the world. This is the first stage of the Legend regulator. And what's unique about the Legend regulator is the fact that it's got several different patents that are involved in it. One of which is our auto closure device, which I will show you in just a few minutes. It's got our overbalancing feature on it, which is another patent that we have. And then it has some other technology in there, and you can see that it's designed for the cold water environment with the big heat sink that you see on there. And those are those little slices of pizza that you see up and down on the first stage there. And that cap on top keeps it from freezing. Okay, so it will actually keep it from freezing during the dive on the first stage. The second stage comes in 3 iterations. I just want to go back real quick. So we offered in DIN and non-DIN, okay, versions of it. Okay, the second stage you can see here, this is the Legend. This is our entry-level model. This is for somebody that wants to get involved in diving, but just wants to be a more economical version. It's $6.99, and it carries the heat sink over here. And this is kind of unique. Can you see my pointer pointing at it? Cole, can you see the pointer?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So the heat sink right there, basically what that's doing is it's warming the temperature of the air coming out of the tank to the ambient pressure or the ambient temperature in the water. And that's a great feature, okay? And by having that feature on it, it makes it have a warm, smooth breath, okay? And as you look through the regulator itself, it's just kind of the design. Actually, this is go back one, there it is, sorry. I actually hit the button. So the Legend is the entry levels for $6.99. It comes with the Venturi, which is over here on the side, just a basically Venturi lever. Really simple, one mechanism, and you're in the water for $6.99. And then we have the second stage of the MBS, and this is our kind of our marquee product. It's been over the years. It was known previously as the Legend LX, which then morphed into the Legend LX second edition, and we introduced the MBS system to it. And we introduced the MBS system. And the master breathing system is, you can see that on there's only a knob, but there's no Venturi lever. So you're going, well, where is it? It's actually integrated into the knob. As you turn the knob itself, it actually pulls the Venturi and allows for you to take it from the pre-dive switch to the dive switch with a slight turn, and then you have still adjustment on the regulator. So it's one control. It's probably our most popular sell. It's not probably, it is our most popular selling regulator because of the fact that it's only one control, simple and easy, one complete revolution, and it covers the full gamut of breathing resistance. Okay? And then if we go down to the Elite is our highest end regulator, and it's for $8.99. And the Elite version basically has the standard going back to more of a traditional adjustable second stage and a Venturi lever. There are divers out there in the professional world and also divers that are out there that are used to having those two features added onto the second stage, most certainly in the colder environments. Still carries a lot of the same features, the heat sink on it, and so it's still has that on there as involved. And then we have the Octopus, which then matches up with just a Venturi lever. And then just a couple of quick little things that I want to point out to you. This regulator got the lowest breathing rate out of any regulator that's currently out there in the industry. It breathes at a measurement, it's called 0.7 joules per liter. That's just a term that is used in the industry to kind of state what's the breathing resistance of the regulator. And that's very, very low. And that's kind of what we've kind of married and built. We've gotten to this point. Let's get to that. But how do we get to that point? Well, one of the features of the regulator, as I pointed out to you, was that internally it is overbalanced. So essentially, as you go deeper diving with the regulator, as you go down in the water, what happens is that the regulator becomes easier to breathe. Okay? And just real quick, about 98% of all regulators are balanced on the first stage, and that's that yellow line that you see right here. And basically, all that does is take the pressure and balances itself out as you go deeper. It doesn't de-densify the air. I'm supposed to laugh. But it actually makes it, as far as a balanced regulator goes, and that's what you're used to. However, what's unique about our regulator and the Apex line of regulators, ironically enough, is that it is overbalanced and it does become easier to breathe. So basically, it is the pressure on the inside of the first stage increases faster than the ambient pressure that you have at depth. As you're going down underwater, it basically increases and then gets up here to as you move down deeper, making it easier. Okay? We have a new design on our front cover. Which is unique about our front cover are these with the side openings. Instead of the openings being on the front side, they're on the side, so that when you're going through current and things like that, you're going to get a much more even distribution across the diaphragm of the regulator. Okay, and those come on the top and the bottom. It also keeps all the sand and grit from flowing in from the front side as you're moving through the water. Basically, the way that it works is the inhale pressure peak is reduced by 20%. So it's 20% easier on the peak end for the inhale pressure. So it's going to make it easier to breathe in. Okay? And that's just a technical, depending on what level of people that we have on the call right now, that's just another showing you where the breathability is. Okay? It's got some soft cold-molded sides to it, so it makes it more comfortable sitting, resting on your chin, as well as easier to grip on the levers. And on the full front of this is one giant purge. So it's basically, it's a full purge. It's a cold-molded material that uses a purge, so it makes it easier to push with gloves on. Okay, and those are Legend 3, which is the one you see over here, is the newest. You can see it's a little bit heavier. However, it is going to be, it's designed to dive in any condition throughout the world than our previous generation. Some of the unique features, which I'll show you, point to you on the quick little live view in just a second. Okay. All right, packaging, just so you know that Aqualung over the years and through our catalogs and different things, we've moved more towards sustainable packaging. And I think that this is important in a consumer's eye, and most certainly it's important to preserve our oceans of the world. But you can see all of our packaging is recyclable. And just kind of just flip through that. You can see the different packaging that we have on here, as opposed to the old plastic covered material. And I think that that's important in a lot of consumers' decisions today, how environmental is the company that they're working with. Okay. All right, so if we can go to a live view.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Yes.
You want to show us what you got there?
Yeah, just go to live view. I'm just gonna run through the different regulators and utilizing the camera that's on the. Okay, so this would be to show you the Legend regulator. And once again, the principal feature of this regulator is the fact that it is overbalanced. And overbalanced means the deeper you go, the more more pressures in the hose coming to the second stage. And once it comes to second stage, when you go to inhale, it reduces the effort. So the deeper you go, the easier it is to breathe. In addition to that, some of the features that it's hard to see on the actual video is that this first stage right here, as you can see, that's an auto closure device. That's another patent that we have. And what's nice is you can take this first stage, dunk it in the water, and you're going to get no water in the first stage. Where does that come into play? That comes into play when you leave your regulator out on the deck of the aggressor, or and you don't forget to put the little cap in. The weather comes in, water gets on it, it rains, and basically water's getting inside the first stage. So what's nice about this is that you can see, it's hard to see there, but action-wise, but it's loaded like this so that you can, when it's on the tank, it opens up, and when it's off the tank, it closes up. Okay, so that's actually, the maintenance on the regulator becomes less over a period of time, especially if you're out there for a couple weeks. Okay, all of our ports are angled. So what's nice about that is that the regulator then comes over the shoulder a lot easier. Instead of the hose looping out in the back and around, you're angled down as your pressure gauge or your transmitter. It does have the heat sink, the molded top keeping it from freezing. Molded top keeping it from freezing. Okay. And on the second stage, or the hose that we use what's called an Aquaflex hose. It's a super flex hose that even under pressure, the hose itself basically will still be as pliable as it is as if it wasn't in that pressure inside of it. We do not use a swivel down here. We did at one point with our Legend regulator. However, we found it's another point of contention, especially when you travel the world. You want one regulator that's just going to be maintenance free the entire time. So that's why we have the auto closure, and that's why we have no swivel down there. We just have just the hose coming into the second stage. Second stage, the MBS system. Basically, it's one complete revolution for adjustment, and it also pulls the venturi on the inside. You can't see it there, but it pulls the venturi off the entrance of the air. So basically, as you're moving through, you can't see it through the picture here, but I'm just telling you this is what happens coming through. And in addition to that, lightweight second stage, which is great for travel. And then one other feature is that a lot of people out there, they get dry mouth, right? So that's just a common thing. And what we've done is our deflector plate, which is on the inside, you can't really see, it's stainless steel. And by being stainless steel, it actually creates a little bit of condensation, making it easier to breathe. So when you combine all those features together, you have a regulator that performs well in Alaska, or one in Socorro, Papua New Guinea, Raja Ampat, Maldives, etc., all over the world, well, most certainly New Zealand, right? You saw the video, and Barrier Reef as well. Okay, and that's the MBS regulator, and that's our reg, and then that's retails for $7.99. And then we have a $6.99, which is the one below it. Same first stage. Everything is the same, except it does not have the master breathing system on it, the adjustable second. It just has a basic lever on it. Okay. And then we have the elite version. You can see it actually, the same identical regulator as the MBS version, but it has the standard size adjustable second stage and the standard size Venturi. Okay. And then we have this one. Just kidding. 1954. You never guess how much. Like, you guys, everybody knows where Big Bear, California is. There was a sporting goods store up there that had 12 of these things sitting there. And I happened to be around somebody who, when the guy came in, said, "Did you guys use these?" This is about 15 years ago. And we said, "Sure, why not?" So, of course, he took them all in the store I was at, and I was standing there, and he goes, "I'll give you one too." But the retail price on here was $15. $15, and it was basically, this box is a little all junked up, but just more of a visual, but it gave you all the parts, so you actually got to do the repair yourself. You didn't need to bring it into the dive center. You could actually just order the parts directly. So, all right.
Very cool.
What I have.
And I did want to say that CEO Wayne Brown shot me a text and said, let everyone know that he does dive with the Legend Elite, and it's the easiest breathing rag he's ever used.
Oh, fantastic.
So you got a little ambassador.
That's one of the best things about our partnership is we get to share our technologies with you guys, also your dive team as well, prior to us putting it out to market. So that's really a great tool. So
we're gonna have you. He'll send you the bill for that little endorsement later.
Okay, go ahead and forward that to Pete. He's
I'm just teasing. All right, so are we good with you then, Chris? Are we ready to move on to Sam?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Sam, you want to start with the video? Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let me grab it real quick.
Thank you very much, Cole. Thank you all for having me. I appreciate the time. I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint here. And, all right. Everybody see that?
Yes.
All right. So what we're covering today is the Outlaw Bcd. This is an extremely travel-friendly product that we have. I think it was a good product to show to you guys with the Aggressor. It is a modular BCD. You'll see it's really like nothing else there on the market. You'll see here that a lot of traditional BCDs are big, they're bulky, they're hard to pack. This is a BCD that can be completely disassembled and reassembled when you're at your diving site. So the Outlaw is a back flotation BCD. This is a picture of it here on the right-hand side. It is designed with a minimalist point of view, meaning if it's not absolutely necessary, they have stripped it off this BCD. This is meant for you guys with the Aggressor, your experienced divers, to throw this in a backpack, go halfway around the world, and have a comfortable BCD to dive with, no matter where you are. Most travel-friendly BCD on the market weighs about 4 pounds. But again, the most important component of that is that it's completely, you can disassemble the whole thing. I'll show you that momentarily. So you can put a certain component in a checked bag, another component in a carry-on bag, another component could be in your pocket on the plane if you need to. And again, this came out in 2016, and it has become our new platform for BCDs, and the possibilities moving forward are just absolutely endless. What makes the Outlaw a little different is it's really made up of 3 components. So you see here, you have a torso piece right here, you have a waistband right here, and you have your shoulder straps up here on the top left, or in the bottom left, excuse me. All of these, as I said, can be assembled or disassembled for easy packing, easy traveling. The other great thing about this is it's custom fit. Take myself personally, I wear the large waistbands, the large torso, but the medium shoulder straps. So you can actually mix and match components to custom fit the BC to your body type at no additional cost. Each component comes small, medium, and large. So we have 27 size combinations to build a BC just for you. You know, a lot of people, like I've got a friend here in Austin, he's, you know, late 20s. He's already done like 5 Ironman competitions. He's 6'5", and his waist is as big as my thigh. He's extremely difficult to fit, and a BCD like this allows us to fit that body type. You have a large torso, large shoulder straps, but a small waistband, so that it actually gets a BC that's comfortable to him, and he's not having to adjust to his BCD. His BCD is able to kind of adjust to him. So we love this. We love the flexibility, and again, to have that custom sizing at no additional cost is a major selling point. Going through our components here, just kind of give you an idea. What you'll notice, again, remember from the first slide, this is a minimalist BCD. If it's not necessary, it's not on this BCD, right? So you'll notice you've got a very trim torso, no space for trim weights, right? You could add trim weights to the tank band if you wanted to. Connections up here at the top where your shoulder straps clip into. You've got buckles on the wings down here that your waistband connects into. And then you have these double locking methods that you can attach weight pockets to. We have 2 different sizes of weight pockets depending on what you need as a diver. Again, you can build this BCD to what you want. This is not you buying a BCD off the rack. This is buying a custom BCD. Looking at the shoulder straps, again, travel is the main focus of this. So fabric D-rings, we're not doing stainless steel D-rings. There is a carabiner that's going to come on your right shoulder. As I said before, 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. Lots of daisy chain, lots of attachment points. So even though we don't have stainless steel D-rings on the BCD itself, plenty of places to attach your lights, your slates, your octo pocket, your all those accessories that you have traveling with you, so you can still keep it nice and compact. And again, finally, waistbands, same. 3 sizes available, small, medium, and large here on the left. We have this feature called pull to tighten. And if y'all dove with an Aqualung BC, you're familiar with this. But what it is you attach the male-female clip right across the stomach, and instead of pulling to the side to tighten the BCD, you actually put your thumb in these loops right here, excuse me, my cursor, and you pull away from your body. So you're actually using your body as leverage to snug the BCD up so that it gets a nice, comfortable fit every single time. As I said, with the shoulder strap, on the waistband as well as an attachment point. Notice there are no places for weights to go on the waistband. As I said, those are going to be attached in the back. I'll come to that slide here momentarily. The bladders of this BCD come in 2 sizes, a 12-pound lift capacity and a 25-pound lift capacity. The 12-pound, again, for that experienced diver who knows exactly how much weight they need at any given time. They want the smallest profile as possible. As I said, throw it in a backpack and go halfway around the world scuba diving. That 12 pounds perfect for that. If you need a little bit more of a buffer, the 25 pounds good for you. Actually, I like the 25 pound personally. Down here in Texas, I am extremely comfortable in warm water. I know exactly how much weight I need in a lake and salt water, whatever it is. If you put me out on the coast in California with Chris, I am like a brand new diver when it comes to cold water. So having that larger bladder allows me to play with my weight a little bit more, and it gives me a little bit more of a buffer. But the thing about these bladders is they can remove them very quickly, and you can add them. So you can actually interchange. If you owned both of these bladders, you could change your lift dive to dive based on what you need right then and there. Weight systems, if I flash back a few, I apologize. Reminder, weights are going to be clipped into the back down here, and then they would go facing down so that you can still ditch them. What we have is we have 2 weight pockets. This is our Sherlock weight pocket. If you guys are familiar with an Aqualung BC, we've had this weight system for many years now. We love it. We think it's the best system out there because it's universal. Whether you're, Cozumel, whether you're at 7 mil gloves, whatever the situation is, there's no need to undo a clip. There's no added risk to ditching your weights if it were a true emergency. So these would be installed down, and I'll show you here momentarily what that looks like. So if you went to ditch your weights, you'd reach down behind you and pull down, and they would literally fall out. These are trim weight pockets, But what you can, and traditionally trim weight pockets are not ditchable weight. However, with these, you can turn it upside down and put a single weight in there. So what you would do then to ditch your weights is reach behind you, undo the male-female clip, pull the flap down, undo the Velcro, and the weight will slide right out. Again, I don't necessarily want a brand new diver doing that, but if you guys are comfortable in the water, you've got a lot of dives, I know you're going to act responsibly. If there were a situation where you needed to ditch weights, this is a great step. And, for those guys who only need 6 pounds of weight to go scuba diving or something, there's no reason to have this larger pocket. We could fit those in the smaller pockets here. Looking at the price of the BCD with all the components together, that's your torso, your shoulder straps, your waistband, and your bladder. BCD retails for $439, so extremely price conscious. That does not include the weights. Again, with this BCD, it's not necessary, it's not included. Some people, especially in other countries, Europe especially, they have a lot, they still dive with weight belts a lot. That to me sounds absolutely awful. I never want to put a weight belt on again in my life. But for those people who want to dive with a weight belt, no problem. You can save the money. If you want weight integrated, you can either $70 retail for the large 10-pound Sherlock weight pocket or $39 retail for the and that's for the pair, 5-pound trim weight pocket. So you can add that again, customizing the BC to you. Additionally, now this is something we came out with a few years later, but these are bladder covers. They're optional. They retail for $50 and they fit the 25-pound bladder. Unfortunately, the 12-pound bladder is too small. So the 25-pound bladder will fit into this comfortably and easily. And you'll notice these are paired up in colors. They're actually reversible. So for that $50, if you want to add some color, add some style to your diving, you're actually buying 2 different colors in one. So you have the ability to move from, I've said, this blue galaxy print right here. You could the very next day come out with the straight blue just by reversing it inside out. We have a galaxy print here as well as a white and pink. We have a teal and white and a black and white. And then we finally have a high vis orange and yellow. These do read instructor on them. But if you want the high vis, I've known people who've done that and they didn't want to mark themselves as an instructor. I know people who even take like a reflective tape and put it over that to make it even more high vis. You got some options there for how you want to beautify your BCD a bit, your diving system. Finally, we are running a promotion right now. This is while supplies last, but if you buy a complete set with the 12-pound bladder, we will throw in the 25-pound bladder for free. That's $160 value. And again, it allows you to change your setup dive to dive depending on what you're doing. So we're going to include that as while supplies last. You can go to your local Aqualung retailer, get an order placed, and we will include that 25-pound bladder in your system. I'm going to stop sharing. All right, my back. I'm going to do a quick demonstration real quick. And so if you'll excuse me, hopefully you'll all be able to see me. I've got my table set up here. Everyone see me still? What I have here is I have an Aqualung Reg Bag, right? But what I've done is I have put an entire BCD inside of this Reg Bag. So nice and small, you can unzip it. I have my inflator mechanism. I have my 10-pound Sherlock weight pocket, which again, this you would pull the tab down to release the weight. I have my bladder, which again, it comes in 2 sizes. I have waistband and shoulder straps, 2 of each. I have my other Sherlock weight pocket. And of course, I have my torso. So I have all of the components stuffed into this bag. And one of the things you'll notice, it's very easy to put together. This BCD, in order to assemble it, they literally slide into place. So you can see by clicking it right there, I just added one of the shoulder straps. So I added the other one. I can clip them in here to create the armhole. And then again, grabbing my waistbands, I can install my waistband here on the edges, snaps into place. Got my other waistband here, snaps into place, and that is the guts of the BCD. I'm not going to install the bladder on it right now because it's a little hard to see, especially from a distance. I will show you the weights, however, though. If I can snap these in. So you'll notice if you needed to ditch your weights, you'd reach behind you and pull down to release the pocket, and then you could ditch it from there. Additionally, as I showed you, we have the bladder covers, which are for color. They are aesthetics, but this is one of them to kind of give you the idea. This is the color. Obviously, there's your branding on it. And as I said before, they are reversible. So you can turn this thing out. And you've got a completely different bladder cover that gives you a little different style. So thank y'all very much for your time and attention. I really appreciate it. Hopefully learned something today with the Outlaw Bcd. And again, I think it's a great, especially with the aggressor, the ability to throw it in the backpack, hop on a boat, and go diving anywhere in the world. I think it's a beautiful product for this. So thank y'all very much, and I hope y'all have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Sam. And Chris, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself too. We've got a couple questions for you guys. I did want to say the Outlaw BCD is the most popular BCs worn by our staff that are on the liveaboards. So that's another good endorsement there. Another one there for you.
Honestly, it's the last BC I've got. Like it's all I dive with anymore. It's so streamlined. It's comfortable. I love it.
Really? Good to know. All right, so we do have some questions here. Let's see. How often should regulators be serviced?
Well, the regulator, we have a program that you buy an Aqualung regulator. You get lifetime parts on the regulator as long as you bring it in once a year to get checked out, and every 2 years you'll get it overhauled. So you're only paying for the labor charge every 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 years, as long as you keep bringing it in once a year. Basically, year 1, you bring it in, have them do an inspection, then year 2 or 3, and all the parts will be covered. And that's expense when somebody buys a regular decision, is having that warranty, or that warranty, having that ability to get free parts for life, because it could be as expensive for the parts as it is for the labor charge. You know, anywhere from $55 to $75 for labor charges, and you could be paying for the parts. So my recommendation is getting it inspected at least once a year. But in our case, if you want to carry the free lifetime parts, you have to get inspected. Year 1, year 2 overhaul, all parts are covered.
Do all dive shops do inspections like that?
Yes, most of our, I would say 99% of our stores do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and any Aqualung retailer has the ability to order the components in order to service it, as well as get the proper certifications to do so. So any retailer in your area, wherever you are in the world, as long as they're an Aqualung dealer, they can service your product.
Okay, that actually does segue me into my next question. If Aqualung is not in your local shop, what's the best way to order Aqualung or to get a hold of something?
Well, they would, if they're not in their local shop,
right?
Most certainly they can go to another retailer in the area. That's one option, and look at the retailers' websites, and you can buy it that way. But we try to get them into the retail store so they get that one-on-one contact, and we want them to see the product and listen to the full rundown of the product and how to use it properly, maintenance, and go through the schedule and logistics, etc.
Okay. And let's see. Do you have any recommendations for disinfecting regulators in light of COVID? Is any damage done by dunking a second stage in diluted bleach solution?
Ooh. I'm not the person to ask that question. No, I haven't really seen it. All my diving recently has been in chlorine, which kills just about everything, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I haven't specific related to COVID.
Okay.
I know that Dan has some recommendations on their website, and I know that some stores have gone out and have purchased different things and have done different research on it. My recommendation is you can contact, if you want to contact Aqualung, you're more than welcome to give me a call, and I will direct you to the right person, which would give you the information.
I'd be wary of using bleach. I think that was the second part of the question. Just, I don't know if it's not diluted enough. You may damage you fade the color on the product. You may damage some of the softer components. I would be wary of bleach personally.
Okay. Just got a long question here. Let's see, a couple questions coming in. Chuck wants to ask, what's the rationale for avoiding the free parts plan if a regulator owner misses a year of service?
What's the rationale for missing it?
Yeah, so let's see. So what he's saying is, what's the rationale for avoiding the free parts plan if a regulator owner misses a year of service?
Okay. I think what you correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm reading from this, Chris, is if someone missed for any reason, say pandemic, you didn't want to go into a store, what happens if you miss the service? Is that correct? That's what I'm reading from it. So the services are all done via the retailer. So there is a form you can fill out. It should be serviced every 2 years. But a lot of that can be, we're here to please the customer. We're here to support you guys all the way through this process. And if you miss it by 6 months, the retailer, a lot of times we can be flexible to those kind of plans, things like that. Don't wait 10 years, but if you wait a few months, if you're a little late, there's things we can do to help.
Okay. And Ivan here wants to put you guys on the spot and says there are a handful of exceptional regulators on the market. So put on your sales cap and let us know why we should pick Aqualung.
I can tell you with the Legend Regulator, it's got the easiest breathing ability. As I pointed out to you, basically it breathes at 0.7 joules per liter. So under any type of strenuous conditions, you're always going to have enough air and support, easier support as you're diving. The other nice thing is the warranty. And I guess one of the things is that having a regulator that is overbalanced, has the auto closure device, keeping the water out of the first stage. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to buying it. There's many good regulators out there in the industry, don't get me wrong, and they all perform well. However, we feel that the Legend, based on our testing and based on in-field testing, which is what we extensively did this last time, having that overbalanced first stage, making it easier to breathe at depth, having the temperature of the water with the heat exchanger, which is a patent of ours as well, the auto closure device, keeping the water in the first stage, makes it the one regulator you can take around the world and dive all locations, as opposed to having a travel versus having a couple of different regulators.
So the thing I'll add to what Chris was saying, he mentioned testing, and I think it really just goes to the value of the brand. One of the things I'll say is all of our regular, either France or the UK, they're not made in China. They're not, you've got components being actually made in the UK, sent over for service, things like that. And then the other part of it is testing. We have there's something called an ANSTI breathing machine, and we own 4 of them at all of our different facilities. And we know exactly what kind of products we're putting out day in and day out. A lot of our competitors don't have these big machines. So we know we've hooked up their regs to our machines. We've hooked up our regs to our machines, and we know that we're to put one of the best products on the market.
Okay, very cool. So where are you guys planning on diving next when the world gets back to normal?
I want to dive up in Victoria. So that's when I head back up to Washington once everything clears out and I do some traveling, do some diving up there in between the San Juan to Fuca Channel. There's a wreck there I've been wanting to do. However, the window's closing because the weather changes. So I would love to get back to Raja Ampat.
Yes.
Yeah, my wife and I had a trip to Cozumel that was canceled because of this. Unfortunately, it would have been nice to get back there. But our next big trip we're working on right now. That's our next big trip.
Hey Sam, you cut out. What was the place you said?
Right, there we go. Is that better? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, my Bluetooth speakers, my Bluetooth headphones, I had to put them on for the presentation. They cut out right at the tail end of this battery died. So yeah, Egypt. What I was saying is, we had a trip canceled because of the pandemic. We were both pretty bummed about that. We got a chance to miss out. My wife's a new diver. She's actually never been to Cozumel, so I was pretty excited to get her down there. And I to show her that. But Egypt is our next big trip. We're working on that for 2021. So,
are you planning on going to the Northern Red Sea or Southern Red Sea? Or have you not researched that in depth yet?
I think it's the Southern Red Sea, but I'm not positive. We'd be going through the shop I teach through here in Austin is running a trip. So we've kind of been talking to them about it. So we'd be going through our retailer. So I don't know exactly what part of the Red Sea we'd be going to now.
I see.
You have any recommendations? I'll take a recommendation. I've never been.
Well, the Red Sea Aggressor 2 and the Red Sea Aggressor 3, the Aggressor boat.
Yeah.
The 2 goes to the Northern Red Sea. I hear there's more wrecks up there.
Mm.
And then the Red Sea Aggressor 3, which is going to the south. I mean, you can't do bad diving in the Red Sea.
Right.
I haven't been there yet, but it's amazing.
I'm used to diving in a lake with about 7 feet of visibility when I teach. So the Red Sea will be a big north, south, east, west. It doesn't really matter. It'll be a nice step up in the world.
I do. One of my coworkers just chimed in that the southern itinerary, which is the Red Sea 3, will be great with a wife who's a new diver.
Okay, that's good to know. That's actually really helpful. Thank you for whoever chimed in. That's very helpful.
And do we have any dates rescheduled for the Aqualung trip that you guys do with Aggressor? I don't think so yet. If you guys are unaware, the people out there watching, we normally try to do one Aqualung week a year on one of our Aggressor boats, normally in the Caribbean. And a rep from Aqualung will be there. Normally one rep from Aggressor will be there. And it's a really cool trip. They bring all kind of different Aqualung gear for you guys to come and test. So you can try new BCDs, new regulators, new dive computers, all kind of great stuff. Unfortunately, we just had to cancel the one that was supposed to be going on this week in the Bahamas, but that trip got shut down. So hope to have another one rescheduled soon. You guys can check that out on the website. But all right, we will wrap it up there, guys. Chris and Sam, I appreciate you guys taking time.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Hope to dive with you guys someday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you, Cole. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time, okay?